All right, hello everyone. Welcome to another Tuesday evening. Unfortunately, I was away last week on a little trip. Not a holiday, but a little trip. So I'm back today, Tuesday. Let's carry on as usual. So last week there would have been a recorded lesson because we never leave Tuesday evenings without a lesson. But today we'll carry on. Now, as you know, Rav is now doing Shamatis on the morning lesson. And so what better material to do than to follow the Rav. So what we're going to do today is Shamati 24. He will save them from the hand of the wicked. Obviously, Rav's got this in the morning lesson, so the best person that will ever teach us Shamati 24 or any article from Baal HaSulam and Rabash is the Rav himself. But Tuesday lessons, for me anyway, is not like a lesson, it's more like a going over what we're studying. So the more we go over the material that we read and we study, it'll impact us and it'll kind of sink in. And I always look at Tuesday night as a special night because we're going over some material And then once we go over them, I can get a good night's sleep. I feel like I really read something and did something. So let's do this. Until we start the Africa Education Center lessons again, like from the beginning, we're going to carry on Tuesdays as usual. So Marty 24, he will save them from the hand of the wicked. It's a short article, so we'll have a short night tonight, but nevertheless, any article by Baal HaSulam, Rabash, and the Rab is definitely worth going over. It's written, Lord hate evil. He will save them from the hand of the wicked. He asks, what is the connection between hate evil and he will save them from the hand of the wicked? In order to understand this, we must first bring the words of our sages. The world was created either for complete righteous or for complete evil. He asks, is it worthwhile to create the world for complete evil, but not worthwhile for incomplete righteous? He answers that from the perspective of the Creator, there is nothing in the world that has two meanings. It is only from the perspective of the receivers, according to the sensation of the receivers. This means that either the receivers feel a good taste in the world, or they feel a terribly bitter taste in the world. Since with every act they do, they calculate it in advance when they do it, since no act is done purposelessly. Either they want to improve their present state or to harm someone, but purposeless things are not worthy of a purposeful operator. Hence, those who accept the modes of conduct of the Creator in the world determine it as good or bad, depending on how they feel, as either good or bad. Because of this, you who love the Lord, who understand that the purpose of creation was to do good to his creations in order for them to come to feel it, they understand that it is received precisely by adhesion and nearing the Creator. As if they feel any remoteness from the Creator, they call it bad. In that state, one considers oneself evil, since an intermediary state does not exist in reality. In other words, either one feels the existence of the Creator and his guidance, or one imagines that the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Since one feels about himself that he is a man of truth, meaning that he cannot deceive himself and say that he feels when he does not feel. Hence, he immediately begins to cry to the Creator to have mercy on him and deliver him from the authority of the Sitra Achra and from all the foreign thoughts. Because he's crying earnestly, the Creator hears his prayer. Perhaps this is the meaning of the Lord is near to all who call upon him in truth. At that time, he delivers them from the hand of the wicked. As long as one does not feel one's true self, meaning the measure of one's evil to a sufficient level to awaken him to cry to the Creator out of the affliction that he feels with his recognition of evil, he is still unworthy of redemption, since he has not yet revealed the vessel for hearing the prayer called from the bottom of the heart. This is so because one still thinks that there is some good in him, meaning he does not descend to the bottom of the heart. In the bottom of the heart, he thinks that he still has some good, and he does not notice with what love and fear he relates to the Torah and the mitzvot. This is why he does not see the truth. All right, so you can ask a question whenever you like. Okay, and let's see. And David's got a question already. Why did the Creator give us the feeling of bad? The only thing he created, David, is, if you think about it, is bad. All right, what do Kabbalists say? Kabbalists say the Creator is good and he does good. So for him to create anything else, since it can't be better than the better, can only be bad. So when we say the Creator created created reality, we're talking about the Creator creating just bad. Because we feel bad here. We feel the earth is bad. We feel we've got a few limited number of years here. We're going to end up dead. And don't know when, don't know how, but that's going to happen. Second of all, the world makes us feel pretty bad. If you think about the thousands of years of history that we've got, think about it, all the wars, bloodshed, natural disasters, people in depression. Every minute somebody's committing suicide somewhere in the world. It's like every minute, or I think every 50 odd seconds, somebody's committing suicide around the world. If you think about it, it's like, tremendous amount of people going through a lot of suffering. Because for a person to do that, he or she must really feel like, that's it. There's nothing else except, death. So why did he give us a feeling of bad? Because we need to build good ourselves. And the reason we need to do that is because by building the good from bad ourselves, we can begin to understand the Creator. It's called growing up. In spirituality, it's like growing up. Well, it's not like growing up, it is growing up. See, in this world, if everything was good, we'd be like kids in a playground for the rest of our lives. And we'd just be happy living like that and ending up dead like that, just like an animal. However, we are destined for more than being just a happy animal with a good, good owner. So the Kabbalists are saying, listen, the world is bad. It was created bad specifically by the Creator so that we can build good. But first we need to understand what bad is. And that's our problem as humanity. We don't really understand what bad is. We just feel bad because life goes the other way. Things go a little pear-shaped. And all of a sudden we feel bad, we don't want to do things, we feel we're upset, we're cursing the Creator, doing all kinds of things like, cursing in our destiny and thinking and always blaming the Creator and saying, well, couldn't he have done any better? I mean, you can do everything, but couldn't you have built a better world? He certainly could have, but it depends on from what perspective you're looking at it. If you're looking at it from the perspective of the Creator, he needed to do it in this way specifically so that man or humans, or when I say man, I mean man, woman, right? Everybody, humanity, needs to build this new level of reality for themselves. And if they can do that, great. That's then they realize their destiny, their purpose in creation, and which is to exist in reality like the Creator. So instead of being a happy chappy animal, born, living, ending up dead, the Creator thinks, well, why end up dead? Why don't you become something amazing, something great? Okay, that sounds good. So how are we going to do that? Well, you got to build it. Because if I give it to you free, you're not going to value it, first of all. And second of all, you're not really going to feel like you participated. It's going to be like me throwing you a dog biscuit. So the Creator has come up with a bit of a plan. And the plan is this: how can I make humanity feel like crap and then bring them to the question, why are we living anyway? The world is really bad. So ultimately, we'll want to get out of this state. And there's only one way to get out of the state we're in, and that is to attain the purpose of life. End of story. That's it. So if we now look at everything from the perspective of the Creator, all the dramas we're going through, all of them are like hurdles or, I don't know, like stepping stones on the path to growth. If we look at it from our perspective, like children, every time we feel bad, we start cursing at the Creator. Like, every time when we're kids, we don't get a candy, we start cursing at mum, saying she's a bad mummy because she didn't give us candy. Then obviously we're going to feel bad in this world. So we've got to start looking at it as students of Kabbalah anyway. We've got to start looking at things from the perspective of the purpose of creation. So if the Creator wants us to build a better us, He needs to make sure we feel that the current situation we're in is not good. That's why. Francesco is asking, but why does it seem that the Creator bestows more goodness, financial health, etc., to those who don't follow Kabbalah, respect to those that do? Well, that's always a good question, because we always feel like the Creator should treat us better because we're studying spirituality, right? That sounds like a great deal. But if He did that, we'd always be egoistic. Imagine us. If the Creator was giving us money and good health and happiness, well, because we're studying Kabbalah, everyone will be studying Kabbalah. The whole idea is to be able to work above my desire to receive, so that I'm not dependent on the fulfillment. So I want to advance to spirituality because I value spirituality. And if we were getting a good life because we're studying Kabbalah, we'd be doing it like a business deal. I study Kabbalah and the Creator gives me money and good health. Great. Who wouldn't study? So precisely, those who study the wisdom of Kabbalah feel on the one hand, they feel their destiny is really bad. They're like cursing at their destiny. And on the other hand, they've got a dot in the heart. So they press on, push forward, studying the wisdom of Kabbalah. We're always left in a dilemma. We're always left in a dilemma. And if you look at the world as well, right, the Creator gives all the money to a few people, while half of the 8 billion people on the planet are having problems finding food for sustenance. Pretty soon, half the planet will not have enough drinking water. I'd say it all seems like pretty bad. Okay, so why would the Creator do that? Well, for us to feel good, we need to first understand what is bad. And the only thing that's bad in reality is our egoistic nature. So the Creator is using all of us, actually, the whole of humanity, is managing the whole of reality to show us how egoism is bad for all of us. So what we need to do is work above the desire to receive. So we don't get bribed, And you might ask this, well, why not distribute all the wealth to everyone? Well, like I said, if everybody felt good, nobody would study Kabbalah anyway. If everybody felt good, nobody would ask the meaning of life anyway. And another thing here we need to add in brackets is the whole world will not study Kabbalah. This is about it. Probably, I think, Bnei Baruch, that's it. We're like at the maximum number of people I think we're going to be at. Because when I came 20 years ago, it was like a sound 1,000, guys studying, plus the women. And, 20 years later, still about the same number of guys, plus the women as well. So, see, quality over quantity always, with respect to the Creator. So the rest of the world will not want to study the wisdom of Kabbalah. They'll want to get out of this bad state they're in. And that's the whole idea. But through that, we'll be able to, understand what's causing bad to everyone. And then we'll want to change that with something good. If we don't do that, we're going to get more problems in life, such as wars, lack of food, lack of water, natural disasters, one after the other. And as life becomes more and more intolerable, then humanity will ask more seriously what the problem is. Then they'll start looking for an answer, and a proper answer. David's asking another question. Do we have to feel more bad to feel more good? We have to understand what we need to feel good or bad from. Because inside of us, as the students of Kabbalah, there are two states. One is the dot in the heart, and the other one is our desire to receive for ourselves. Okay? So our whole nature is a desire to receive, but we can operate this desire to receive in two ways. Either we can, put the dot in the heart into active mode and advance with that. Then you don't have to feel suffering. When you study the wisdom of Kabbalah and you're advancing with the dot in the heart, the way you really go forward is, how should I describe it? It's not all fun and games, okay, that's for sure. Right. But it's not all suffering either. Now, a person out there on the street who's got a bad life, he's got a bad life in any case, and there's no understanding behind why he's got a bad life. For a person who's studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, he has his ups and downs, but he understands why he's going through the ups and downs. So if I understand why I'm going through states, I've already kind of eliminated the suffering behind it. Why? Because I've added an understanding, a justification to what I'm going through. Now, if I can justify what I'm going through, then it won't be felt as a suffering. So you can actually nullify the suffering. Not 100%, but still nullify it. The other thing is this, in spirituality, is there suffering? Yeah, there is suffering because, like in this world, we feel bad when we want to get something and we can't get it. In spirituality, it's the other way around. I want to bestow and I can't bestow, and I'm suffering because of that. So in any case, is there suffering? Yeah. Will it ever be over? You're probably asking. Yeah. When we finish the path, when we actually overcome, when we start to exist above our beastly desires, above our egoistic state, we'll actually feel tranquility, perfection, and a state of tranquility and happiness. But that can only happen when I understand how I need to overcome my egoism and why I need to do it, and I need to achieve that level. I need to realize the purpose of life, and then we can have an all wild party, as they say, at the end of the road. Until then, though, we need to grow up, and it's the path of falling down and getting back up. It's like how children grow, and that's the same procedure for us. Francesca is asking, how can I identify my ego incorporeal and spiritual and say to it, stop where you are? Rav said, I haven't restricted it once. Why is that? Isn't the ego the evil inclination? Look, when you identify your egoism, right, in corporeality, well, corporeality and spirituality, we need to divide them up. The way to nullify things is to increase the importance of spirituality, which means I increase the importance of love and bestowal. By looking at myself and seeing my egoistic nature and telling myself to stop will not restrict it. That is called recognition of evil. My egoism is working, and I understand that it's putting its right leg forward. It's like activated. And I see it, I understand it, and I understand this is bad. I understand it's evil, and I understand it's in me, but it's not restricted. What becomes restricted is when I put on top of that the attribute of love and bestowal. Why? The restricting power is actually bestowal and love, not putting a leash on egoism. And that happens by me attaining that level of love and bestowal. And once I attain that, then that becomes restricted. Why? Because of importance. And in spirituality, it's all about importance. The more I give spirituality, bestowal, importance, and then my egoism can be restricted. If I do it by force, it's not restriction. It'll just, how can I say, it'll burst out again in the future. If you don't add love and bestowal, your egoism is going to, that same ego is going to burst out again and again and again. Every time your coarseness, your egoism develops and grows. And day by day, it is growing, even though we may not realize that our egoism is growing day by day. It is. That's why. Isn't justification a form of compensation, like what psychology says also to do? Justification means I understand the reason and the consequence, cause and consequence. That's what justification is. Justification is not me treating my situation with some kind of a psychological, psychological or psychological exercise. Yeah, compensation, justification is understanding the cause and consequence of what's going on. Because if I say to myself, look, every time I say something happens, let's say something bad happened, God forbid, in case, right? Something bad happened. And then I was to always justify it, saying, yeah, well, it's the creator is good, that does good, and so on. There'll come a time when, if you keep repeating that, it becomes like a mantra. What you need to understand is this. If something negative happened, okay, yes, it's coming to me from the outside, and outside of us, there's just a creator. So the creator is doing something to me which makes me feel bad. So this should arouse in me, well, what do I need to do with this? It's not just saying, well, the creator is good, that does good. Then that would become a psychological compensation, justification. No, I have to say, okay, the creator is trying to raise me, it's trying to develop me. What do I need to do from here? I need to start thinking about how I need to react back to the creator. And this reaction towards what he's doing is actually where I can begin to justify the creator. How will I justify the creator? Not during the event, but after I've understood the process I've gone through. Just like kids, sometimes they don't understand why we treat them in a certain way, but when they become parents, they justify you. Why? Because they understand why. They understand why you restricted them, why you, gave them a hard time for something or not. And that justification needs to happen in us as well. We need to come to a state where we understand the creator. Then we can say, no, that's how I'm justifying it. So we don't want to get into any psychological, exercises to make us, kind of override what we're going through. We want to go through all the emotions, whether they're good or bad. You might be even cursing at the creator. It's not a problem. It's not a problem from the side of the creator as well. He's bringing you to that situation. He understands your cursing and he's making you curse. Okay. The question is, from this situation, where would you rather be? Where would you like to be? Because by being in a bad situation or a bad feeling, you need to then start thinking and saying, wait a minute, I'm in a bad situation. I'm in a bad sensation, bad feeling. But if I was to develop myself in love and bestowal, how would I be? What would my reaction be? What should it be? And that's how I should be thinking. And then I need to counteract what the Creator did with that reaction. So this is why the wisdom of Kabbalah is a practical science. I feel something and I've received a sensation due to events in my life. So now, how am I going to direct that? How am I going to move through that? How am I going to maneuver through that in order to advance spiritually one step further? Right, so we need to have this kind of ping pong table tennis movement with the Creator. He throws the ball, then you got to think about, well, how am I going to hit the ball back? Where am I going to hit it? How am I going to take care of this? And so how far am I from the Masah? Well, I wouldn't know, Francesca, how far you're from the Masah. That, how can anybody know until we get one? Until we acquire a Masah, you won't know, I won't know yours either. Everybody in spirituality develops in their own way. So Masah means obviously I've come to a level where I've actually built myself the minimum level of intention to bestow. And that is my initial Masah. That should be a level where you begin to understand how you need to relate to the Creator. Until I get to that relating to the Creator correctly, then we've got to play the game. Okay, so with everything that happens to me, I need to think about how I should behave, how I should react. Well, we've got a lot of questions tonight. Have you guys all been holding back on me because of this 1 week I was away? Patricia is asking, does attaining maturity mean we have to give up our childlike, playful nature? Well, I don't think we have to give up stuff like that. I think we have to just give up our evil nature, which is our egoistic side. Okay? The purpose of life, as we just read as well, is to bring happiness, to do good to the creatures. So the Creator wants to do good to us. The question is, we don't know what good is. From our perspective, good is getting what I want. And from the Creator's perspective, that's really bad. Because the way we're behaving right now, trying to get whatever we want in life, we've actually, completely wrecked the planet. So we're going through all kinds of, natural disasters simply because we're destroying the place we're living in. Imagine you got a guest coming into your house and he behaves like however he wants. He wrecks your house. He takes whatever he wants. He just does whatever he wants. This is how we are on the planet. So we're wrecking the environment that we're living in. See how stupid we are? As humanity, we're so dumb. No animal in the world destroys the world they live in, but we do. See how crazy we are? So the Creator wants us to become a normal being instead of being a lunatic. And that's growing up. And we're going to have to do that. We're going to have to raise ourselves to a new level of maturity. This doesn't mean we can't have fun and games. Precisely at that level, we can have a good time, because good time means having good relationships with people. Imagine all the times when you had a good time. Mostly they're always with people you care about, people who care about you, and so on, family, friends. This is the best time we can remember. The best times we remember in life are those when we had a good time with other people. So the Creator actually wants us to build good relationships and stop worrying about consuming the planet and start worrying about how we can all care for each other and how we can be in good connection with each other rather than being with an egoistic relationship with each other. Because the more egoistic we are, we harm each other. This is why everybody's getting divorced. Everybody's got everybody's getting into all kinds of fights with everybody else. Everybody's in this weird competition for God knows what. It's just crazy out there. We're nearly the brink of war with countries, terrorism, war, all kinds of violence, domestic violence, street violence, murder, rape. Look at all the things that are going on the planet. So these are the things that we need to change. And the party and the fun will begin when we do change. Until then, it's a nightmare. Our life here is a nightmare. P. Marlin is asking, can't the restriction be restricting our reaction to what the Creator does our life? Let me see, I couldn't understand the question. Can't the restriction be restricting our reaction to what the Creator does? Our life circumstance, if we react in an egoistical way or pause, reflect on what the Creator is saying. Can't the restriction be restricting our reaction? Well, at the moment, until we have a proper masach, right, proper screen, we're not really restricting anything. We're just choosing whatever is more important. So, if I'm studying spirituality, and if I use the environment to make spirituality more important, then precisely at that point, we've got something to talk about. Why? Because then I've chosen spirituality because I feel it's more important than chasing all kinds of corporeal nonsense. So it's all about importance here, and that depends on the environment I'm in. So until we attain spirituality, we're going, back and forth from what's more important to, what's even more important. What's important for us? That's what we're doing. Francesco's asking. He immediately begins to cry to the Creator to have mercy on him and deliver him from the authority of the Sitra Achra. Why do we ask for mercy? Well, mercy is the attribute of bestowal, and we don't have it. Okay. So mercy is, I don't know, sometimes we're getting the words mixed up with what's in the dictionary. Mercy is not like a person begging the Creator to do some kind of, I don't know, pity on you or something. The Creator doesn't have pity on us. We're not created we're not created so that the Creator can pity us. We're created so that the Creator can help us to be something much greater if we want. Why is he turning to the Creator for mercy? Because he understands that his current situation is bad. And this is where humanity is coming to. Humanity is coming to a point where we understand that the way we're living our lives is causing us harm. Hopefully we'll understand it quicker than previous generations, because otherwise we could go to a third world war. So when a person understands, a person obviously who's studying the wisdom of Kabbalah, is working on correcting himself, changing himself. When a person who's studying the wisdom of Kabbalah understands that he is bad at that particular attribute, and he sees he's created this way, then he has to turn to the Creator and say, listen, dude, you got to change this little defect that you've done. So turning to the Creator for mercy really means that I've seen something in me which I think is bad, and I don't want this attribute in me, or I want to be above it, more like. So asking for mercy means asking for the strength to cover that evil with love and bestowal. That's it. Now, why am I pleading for it? Well, it's making me feel bad. It makes us feel bad. It makes us stay away from the Creator. What is bad in spirituality? When I'm disconnected from the Creator. Because good is connection with the Creator. If I'm disconnected, I feel bad. And because we don't feel the Creator at all in our corporeal lives, we feel bad in life. Just think about it. We feel bad in life because we don't feel the Creator at all. So spirituality is a way, the wisdom of Kabbalah is a method of feeling the Creator, connecting with the Creator while we're living in this world. That can allow us to elevate above the evil. And that's what demanding mercy means. That's a pretty good level for a person to understand that he is getting something from his egoism, his sitra akhra, and then understanding this is bad and then turning to the Creator to fix it. That's a pretty good level. Can we organize live lessons with you on Zoom instead of YouTube? Well, we can think about it. We can do this on Tuesday nights on Zoom, and we can still do it on YouTube, right? We do this, don't we? We do this with the Turkish group. It's on Zoom and it's on YouTube at the same time. Okay, we can do that. And nobody also needs to be seen on YouTube as well. The reason I put it on YouTube is so that other people who are not able to watch us live can connect live as well. Okay, so we can definitely do that. Why don't you drop us a line to our email address? What's the email address? Can you guys write the email address there so the guys can drop us a line, and maybe we can do it that way if you guys want to do that. P. Marlon's asking, if a main point of the Creator is for humanity to recognize our own evil and we can see it, loathe it, sick of being stuck under its control and beg for the power to overcome it, why so long? That's a good question. Why does it take so long? Well, it takes ages for the world to develop. If you think about it, right, we humans are quite complicated creatures. We're really complex. All of us are different. All of us have a different psychology. All of us are part of the whole thing, but we're all different. We see reality differently. We understand the world differently. We don't understand each other at all, despite the fact that we think we see the same things. So this process of growing takes a long time. And the reason is our development, our height, our pinnacle of development is so high. Think about it, right? Animals grow up just like that. Immediately, kittens, dogs, a few months, you can already, give them to someone else, take them away from their mom, and they'll be fine. A cow can stand up in an hour or so, start suckling from its mom. A calf is like a cow in a minute. But we humans take ages and ages to grow up. But we are the smartest creatures on the planet. Well, on the one hand, smartest, on the other hand, the dumbest as well. Like I said, because we're always using our intellect in an egoistic way, which is wrecking the planet and our lives as well. However, though, we're the smartest, and it takes longer to develop. Imagine just think about it. How many years does it take for a baby to start talking? At least 3 years until we start talking and start saying something instead of gibberish, right? By the time we start walking, it's like 2 years or something, right? By the time we start doing something properly, logically, it's like several years. So all of these things take time, but this time process is building inside of us an extreme higher level of development. So our spirituality is the same way. It's taking a long time because we're going to reach a much higher level of perfection, of understanding, of much higher level. So those higher levels of development require us to go through such long periods of spiritual study. And I know it's a bit of a drama because when students come, we're also in the 21st century, right? We want to attain spirituality right now. Give it to me. Take it like a pill, all right? But, it's not going to happen that way. Kids don't grow overnight. We won't be growing up overnight either. But although you say it takes so long, it's not actually so long. It's pretty much the same amount of time it takes us to grow in corporeal reality. It's pretty much the same. So by the time, we start making sound decisions, we're actually in our 30s. or even 40s. Think about it. By the time we're 20, we're still like kids. We're running around, want to conquer the planet, blah, 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 travel the world, want to do this, want to do that. And then life slaps us out around a little bit, brings us back to Earth from cloud 9, and then that's it, you know? Then you start thinking, well, you know, obviously life isn't what I expected it to be. So you start being calmer and you start doing things a bit more down to earth. That's like, you know, mid-30s. So it's the same kind of procedure. There's nothing really unusual if you think about it. Okay, so it's not that long blink of an eye. Okay, look at us now, right? I'm 50. Okay, in November I'll be 50. So a few more, like 2 more weeks, that's it. It's 50. From here, it's all downhill. But think about it. What happens by the time you get to this age, you begin to start thinking about life, thinking about the meaning of life, what you're going to do with your life. Why? Because you went through all the experiences. Now you can ask questions about it. You can think about why things didn't go like you planned. And now you can think about how you want to change it, what you would have done, what you should have done. All these things happen because we go through experiences in life. And those experiences bring us to this specific second in our life where we can actually now make a decision, make an evaluation. So everything we go through in life is actually, you know, is just bringing us to this point. So all we have to do is just, you know, take the bull by the horns, as they say, and tackle it. But it can be fun and it can be really good if we've got good friends around us. I mean, I've been with Neighborhood since 2000 and 2001, end of 2001, let's say beginning of 2002. Right, I'll be with Neighborhood, so it's like 19 years, nearly 20 years. And with the guys, it's all fun and games. You know, you have a lot of ups and downs. Yeah, is your life interesting? Very interesting. After I started studying Kabbalah, life has become very interesting. Okay? Because you begin to understand what you're going through, you begin to understand what you want to get, you begin to understand and clarify what you want to get out of. And so I think it's been a good journey, and I'm really excited about the next 20 years as well. So I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing. I think we all need to go through things, and the Creator is making us go through these things specifically for a good reason. So we can actually start looking at life from a different perspective. And that, with the wisdom of Kabbalah, has been like a really fast process. So I'm like really glad I started studying, and I'm not bitter that it's taking so long. Like I said, it's a process that we can all enjoy, actually, with all the flip-flops down as well. You can enjoy the process despite the fact that the Creator can drive you mad, okay? And he does quite often. He likes doing so. But, you know, after you go through those crazy situations, you know, you begin to calm down, you begin to evaluate, you begin to understand, and you begin to see that you needed that. So it's all good, and try to look at it from a bit more fun and game perspective, and corporeal wise, you know, don't get hung up about it too much. Alrighty, so that was nice today. I had a really nice lesson. I wasn't expecting so many questions. I was just about to go read it again and maybe, you know, go over the paragraphs again, but it's good to see we're a nice crowd here. If you guys want to do it live on Zoom, drop us a line. I think you guys know the email address. If you don't know the email address, they will give it to you right now. Okay. And if you want Zoom, well, we'll see how many people want Zoom, because if we're like 10, 15 or more, that'd be great. We've got 8 people at the moment, and and the email address has been shared. So if you guys want to do it on Zoom, drop me a line. If we're going to be 8, 10, we can definitely do it. No problem. All right. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. See you guys in the morning lesson tomorrow, hopefully. If not, next Tuesday. All the best. Have a good night.